right, so as we go through trying to solve our equations with tiles, turn your papers over to the back and let's remind ourselves of this. First off, with the tiles, I know that when I have a little square like this is just a 1, it's just a unit tile. If it's colored in, then it's a -1. I know that when I have the longer rectangles, it's an X. And a colored in one, that's a -X. Okay? So when they give us problems, for example, and it says 2x minus 4 plus x plus 2, this is an unsimplified expression. Now, the difference between an expression and an equation. An expression does not have an equal sign in there. An equation does. So, for example, an equation could be 2x minus 4x plus x plus 2 equals 10. When I said it have it equal to something, that's an equation. The expression part of it is just like the 2x minus 4 plus x plus 2. An expression is just that, because now when we have an expression, now we need to simplify it and be able to put together the terms that are alike. Now, speaking of terms, terms are how many of these things we have. See, like 2x, that's one term, 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms. So right here in this example, I have 4 terms in the unsimplified. When I go to put together the things that are the same, I have 3x plus 1x, 2x plus 1x, and that gives me 3x. Then I have minus 4 plus 2, which gives me minus 2. Right here, I have 2 terms. This is the simplified version. Okay, so let's go back and let's look at number 2 on your paper. It gives us our tiles. We can write it a couple different ways, but one way we can write it is, in an unsimplified, how many of these x's do I have that are positive? I have 2 positive x's, so I can write 2x, and then I have a negative x, so I'll put -1x or negative x, plus 1, and minus 1. Now, that is the unsimplified form. When I simplify them, a positive 1 takes away a negative 1. Well, that makes sense because right here, 1 minus 1 is 0. My x's, 1x takes away a negative x. Well, 2x minus 1x, 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer is just an x. That's all that I have left, this right here. Now you're going to be able to check these, and what you're going to do is in y1, we're going to put the original problem. 2x minus x plus 1 minus 1. And in y2, we're going to put what we think the answer is, and I think the answer is just an x. So I'm going to go into the handy dandy calculator, go into y equals. I'm going to put in there 2x minus x. Make sure you use the minus sign when it's in between 2 terms. Plus 1 minus 1. Now in y2, I'll go down there and I think the answer is just an x. So when I press second graph, the way I know I'm right on an expression only is when all of y1 and y2, when these are the same, that means that I am correct. All right, let's look at number 4. There we go. There's number 4. Here is my unsimplified expression. I need to draw the tiles. It says negative 2x. So I'll draw 2 negative x's. and then it says plus x. So there's a positive x. Then it says minus 2, which is the same as negative 2. Okay, so I've drawn my tiles. Now I need to simplify. I'm going to put my x's together. Well, a positive x takes away a negative x, and what am I left with? I have a negative 1x, which makes sense because I've got negative 2x plus 1x, which is negative 1x. Then I just have these two negatives. And so it is minus 2. Now, I can write it like this, or I can write it as negative x minus 2. Both of those mean the same. So in y1, I'm going to put negative 2x plus x minus 2. And in y2, what I think the answer is, negative x minus 2. So let's go to the calculator. Go to y equals. I have negative in the beginning, it's the negative button. 2x plus x minus 2. And in y2, I have negative x minus 2. Press second graph. And you know if you're correct if all of y1, if these two columns match, if y1 and y2 are the same. Let's look at number 6. Here's number 6. It gives me my tiles. So let's write what we see. I have two negative x's, so it's negative 2x. All right, I've done those. I have a positive 1 and a negative 1. And I have two positive x's. All right, well, that's my unsimplified version, so I could, that's what goes into y1. Now, let's cross out the things that make 0. A positive takes away a negative. Well, that makes sense because 1 minus 1 is 0. Then a positive x takes away a negative x. Positive x takes away a negative. Well, holy moly. So 2x minus 2x. Everything goes away. So what number do you use to represent that? 0. Everything went away because 2 minus 2, everything crossed out. So now we can go into the calculator and go to y equals. And put in there negative 2x plus 1 minus 1 plus 2x. And then I think my answer is 0, so I'll put that into y2. Press second graph. y1 and y2 should all be the same. Since it is, I'm okay. So let's go to number 8. Not number 8, because it only goes to 7 over there. So let's go to the right-hand side and let's look at problem number 2. Now on these, we have a number outside the parentheses. So what you're going to do is what I call hippity-hoppity distributive property. I'm going to take the number outside, my hippity, I'm going to take 6 times 3, 18n. Then you take 6 times 7, plus 42. These two things can't go together, so that's all that's my answer. So what I'll do is I'll go into the calculator. Darn. Let's see here. And I'll go to y equals. And I have 18x plus 40. No. Try again. 6 parentheses. 3x plus 7. And in y2, what I think the answer is 18x plus 42. Now I'm going to press second graph. And if all of y1 and y2 again are the same, then that means we're right. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, there's a number outside the parentheses. So I'm going to take 3 times m 3m. 3 times 4, which is 12. We would check it in the calculator the exact same way. Putting the original problem into y1, I would put this into y1 and this into y2, and it's going to tell me if I get my answer right or not. Now, in number 6, what do you see that's different than what we've done? There's more steps to it, right? Okay, in order of operation, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What's the P stand for? Parentheses. Okay, the 5 is over here, the 5x, it's chilling by itself, so I'm just going to write the 5x right there. Now, what is outside the parentheses is the 8. So I'm going to take 8 times 3, 24, 8 times 2, plus 16x. Now do what we were doing before. Let's combine the things that go together. 5x and 16x. 21x plus that 24 stays there by itself. So what we're going to do in the calculator, we're going to go to y equals, put the original problem, not what we did after we multiplied, the original. So I'm going to put 5x plus 8 parentheses, 3, oh, that's not a 3, 3 plus 2x. Put the problem into y1, arrow down, and into y2, 21x plus 24. Second graph. And look and see again, does all of y1 and y2 match? And if so, you've gotten it right. Try number 8. So on number 8, the number that's outside the parentheses is negative 3. So I'm going to take negative 3 times 8, which is negative 24. Negative 3 times negative 5, positive 15x. Now, the 6 is not inside the parentheses, the 6x, so you just bring it over here and bring it down. You don't multiply it by the negative 3. You only multiply it by whatever's inside or outside the parentheses. Now I can put together my x's. So I get negative 24 plus 21x. Or you can write it 21x minus 24. Both of those things mean the same. Okay, so if we're looking at number 10, the first thing I look at is what number is outside the parentheses. What number is outside the parentheses? The 2 is. You'll take 2 times 8 and 2 times negative d. So the negative 5d just comes down. 2 times 8, 16. 2 times negative d, negative 2d. And then the negative 9 just comes down for the minus 9. Now, I'll put together my d's. Negative 7d, because negative 5 and negative 2. And then 16 minus 9. 16 minus 9, 7. To check it, you just put, we'll just go up there. Let me pull it up. There we go. Y equals. I'm going to put in there negative 5d, or 5x, sorry, plus 2, parentheses, 8 minus x, minus 9. And in y2, negative 7x plus 7. Second graph. All of y1 and y2 should be the same. So on number 12, looking at number 12, there's 2 sets of parentheses. So the first one, I will multiply the negative 5 So I'll do negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15y. 7 times 2y and 7 times negative 9. So I have 14y and minus 63. Once you do that multiplying, now let's put together the things that are alike. Negative 30 minus 63 is negative 93. And I have negative 15y and positive 14. So it's negative 1y. Or you can write it negative y minus 93. That would mean the same thing. Now, with all of this, flip your paper over to the back. On going to solving equations, I go and I draw my line right here and I try and figure out what I'm supposed to do to solve this. On the left-hand side, there's nothing to put together. So I leave it as negative 54. Now on the right-hand side, I have a 6 outside. So I'm going to take 6 times 9. That gives me 54. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36x. So we just did the distributive property, which is what the lesson that we were doing today. Now we just do our two-step equations that we should have known how to already solve from earlier in the year. I need to move this 54 over to the left, so I'm going to subtract 54 from each side. And I'm going to get negative 108 equals, this makes 0, negative 36x. Now I divide by negative 36. And x equals, what's 108 divided by 36? Let's see. Negative 108 divided by negative 36. 3. All right. So then x equals 3. Now, on the equations like we've done before, remember checking here is a little bit different than the simplifying expressions, because we put the left-hand side into y1. We put negative 54, and in y2, 6 parentheses, 9 minus 6x, and press second graph. When you're solving an equation or checking the equation, you're looking for the one spot where y1 and y2 are the same. Right there, negative 54 is where x is 3. That's how we know we got the right answer when we're trying to check our equations. Let's try another equation just to try and tie in what we've done. So I have 2 parentheses negative 4 minus x minus 2 equals negative 4. Now, I'm going to draw my equal to line. First thing you do is parentheses. There's a 2 outside of this parentheses. 2 times negative 4 and 2 times negative x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 2 times negative x, negative 2x. And I'm just going to bring down that minus 2 right there because it's not inside the parentheses. Okay? On the left-hand side, put together the things that are alike. So I've got negative 8 and negative 2. That gives me negative 10 minus 2x equals negative 4. Now I should see you put plus 10, negative 2x equals 6. Divide by negative 2. X equals negative 3. And again, by checking it, you put the left-hand side right here into y1, and the right-hand side into y2. Then when you go to your table, you're going to see that at -3, y1 and y2 are the same, and that means that you are going to be right.